Well, folks, what are you supposed to do on Mondays? This is a Monday, the second Monday in the new year, 2021. Well, what you're supposed to do on Mondays is a new Bible verse and take the recycle bin out to the sidewalk. And a new hymn and new jokes or refresher jokes and a new word to strengthen our vocabulary. And a renewal of, when all is said and done, what? The only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. Do we treat you well, camcorder? Do we treat you well? Do we treat you well, TV viewers? The spirit of love will do the healing. The spirit of love will do the healing. That was a very, very good discussion that appeared on Christian Science Sentinel Radio. A Christian Science healer practitioner named Mary Alice. I have to call up the Mother Church in Boston and get her number. She told how she was a reader in the Christian Science Church, and they read the Bible, and they read Science and Health by Mary Baker Eddy to make sure that the message is correct. None of these wanderings around by ministers into all kinds of things that don't do healing. And if she read to the congregation of the church, she said, Mary Alice, are you really doing what you should be doing for God? And she thought about it, and she wasn't. And she kept thinking hard about it and trying to do it. And it wasn't for 10 years that she gave up her career in technology and became a Christian Science. Well, I would think first she would become a student, then she'd become a practitioner and heal people and do what Mary Baker Eddy wanted, all mankind to be without sin and without sickness. And she proved that all those that she touched were without sin and sickness. And I missed the Christian Science Bible lesson for the week. That was over last night, so a new one starts today these are on the telephone poles. Anything else happened yesterday? Andrew baked Glendora some bread. It was very, very good bread. And it was just full of grain. And it was light. The texture was very good. Sandy did the laundry. And Sandy did the bathroom was clean. I think she did did she do the U.S. mail? Folks, I've come to the conclusion that on account of this virus, and on account of I also like solitude, that I will not ask, I will not seek to have any more helpers. We'll just keep the helpers that we have now. We'll stop advertising on the Craigslist and on Marketplace and in the advertiser. We'll just stop advertising. And we will go with what we have. Now, for instance, take Monday. We'll spread things out more. What do you think of this? On Monday, put down Victoria. And she will read the World Book Encyclopedia on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Maybe we'll do it that way. And then she you can't do it that way. You have to start at the Holy Agenda. Glendora will do the voicemail. And Pat, when she comes in, she will do the voicemail on the phone that Glendora can't dial. And Glendora will do the apps. She'll ask Barbara Mooney to read the apps. She'll ask Victoria to read the apps. Glendora will do the 30 telephone calls. Glendora will dictate the letter. Keep up the dictation skill. On Tuesday, Pat will do the 3 think folders and the voicemail. And Pat will do the U.S. mail for Monday and Tuesday. Do you like this? It's really quite an art to try to put all these pieces in the right place. It's quite a puzzle. And then Madeline every day will do the Gmail and the YouTube group of social media. And Pat every Tuesday will do write the article for the advertiser. And Pat every Tuesday will read an article from the Encyclopedia Britannica. And Pat will take the grocery list because she goes to Honest Weight, the food co-op, and she volunteers there, and they do their grocery shopping there, and she's always been very kind about doing our grocery shopping. So Pat will keep the errands list for groceries, and Esther on Friday will keep the errands list for everything else, non-groceries. And Madeline will order over the Walmart online. Now how are we? Fine. We've covered the U.S. mail. We've covered the advertiser article every week. And now Glendora will do the Soul to Soul. Robert Jackson will take care of DC TV, keeping our program on DC TV, which is quite a challenge. Robert Jackson will feed the program by computer to Gary Black, and Gary Black will send the program out by Dropbox to, I think it's 8 TV stations. We will finish up the renewals, Rockland County and Torrington, Connecticut. Glendora hopes to finish those up this week. And who will do the museum? Vicky will do the museum on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then she and Esther will work on the museums on Friday. And I think that's it for the Holy Agenda. Now somebody is going to work on veterans to see why Franklin does not receive a benefit after being in World War II from Pearl Harbor, 1941, to Victory in Europe Today, 1945. Come on, veterans, you're not doing this. Veterans Association. This should have been settled long ago. But the Spirit of love will do the healing. So we're not going to ask for any more people to come to work here. Now what will happen? That means the money will all pile up. Where will we put the money? Where will we put the money? Money's going to all pile up because there won't be anybody to pay. Because the ones I named are volunteers, except Vicky. Thursday, Darlene will do the in-mail. She's very good at that, and she's very good at the advertiser. Well, I think it's all going to work out. No more people, except the ones that we have that wear masks. And we will become recluses. I kind of like that. We can do 30 calls a day and help people feel better, tell them jokes, give them Bible, read them, sing them a hymn. Right, folks? Are you going to go for this? Okay. What are you going to do next? Call Mr. Collins and get your new Bible passage. Mr. Wayne Collins in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Do you have a nice new Bible passage for us for the second week of January?
Yes, I have. This week's passage is Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
Glendora, you need that this morning. Let us not weary in well-doing. Thank you, Wayne.
You're welcome.
Wayne, what is our word today to strengthen our vocabularies?
The word for today is allegiance.
Beautiful.
Definition is the duty of being loyal to one's ruler, government, or country. Second definition, loyalty, devotion, as to a cause.
How about to God?
Yes.
My allegiance is to God.
Yes, that's certainly another kind of allegiance.
Hey, this is January 10th, 2021. And who said, the British are not coming? Paul Revere. And who said, when all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how you treated others? Who said that? And who says the Spirit of love does the healing? Let's keep that one today. Want to? The Spirit of love does the healing. I would say that Paul Matteau in San Diego, Department of Education, who cablecasts our public access shows, I would say that he has the Spirit of love. I would say that it was the Spirit of love that has improved, or, okay, how do I say that? The state of health, improved health. We're not even supposed to believe in it. A Biffy cat and Domino cat and a cat. I would say so. It was the Spirit of love that healed. snow for a long time. Temperatures around 30s, 29, 28. Would you like to have us get out the documentary on a chat with Glendora, made by documentarian Victoria Carezzi? Would you like to see it again? It would be too much work to go through 13,000 shows and find it. But we could ask Victoria to make a copy with our duplicator that will duplicate 6 TV shows simultaneously and instantaneously. Marvelous machine. What happened when the boarding house blew up? The rumors began to fly. What does a report card teach a parent? You don't have to lift weights to raise a dumbbell. Folks, Wayne just told me, what does a train and a symphony orchestra have in common? They both need a good conductor. We would tell Christine at Channel 6, who was an integral part of this story. You did the job, George. You got the job done. It was difficult. It was a strain. But we are grateful. We are grateful. Sandy tried to unlock the door and the key broke in the door. At first she could not extract the key, but finally she went and touched it and opened it, and the key just opened up. So Sandy called Julie, the owner of the property, and Glendora asked Patricia to go to Ace Hardware and to make a new Happy House key and a new Glendora Franklin Museum key. In the meantime, because we did not communicate well, Julie went to Ace Hardware and had 2 Happy House keys made. We told Julie that the room was rented, and Julie was pleased. And we told her that we were doing well filling up the boxes where Julie wants us to have somebody here all the time with Glendora. Today, are you going with me? Today we are going to the Northeast Association for the Blind, and they require that we have a certificate stating that Glendora is blind, as if you can't see that. If they're blind, they can't see it. And the senior citizens group in East Nassau gave Patricia $25 to give to Glendora to pay to have this certification that Glendora is blind. Thank you, group of senior citizens in East Nassau. There was a community, a town. It's a town of East Nassau. No, there's a town of Nassau, folks. Don't let me get it mixed up. There's a town of Nassau. And there was a man named Clemente, and he wanted to open a mine there. He wanted to have a core. But where the quarry would be located was a part of Nassau where the citizens didn't want a quarry because it would change their neighborhood. Then there's no question about it at all. It would change their neighborhood. So these people in this section of Nassau seceded from Nassau. And they call it East Nassau. They seceded. And that's how they avoided having a quarry, because the town of Nassau was going to consent. Interesting. When did this happen? Not long ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And it is in this East Nassau section of Nassau where the people have a very strong senior citizen, a grassroots group helping senior citizens stay in their homes as long as possible, making their homes ready for senior citizen living. Oh, it isn't that bad, baby. No, it's all right. No, it's okay, baby. God will take care of all of us. We're all right, honey. Everything's good. That's the clock. A little late. Maybe not. It's toward 9 o'clock a.m. ante meridian. So thank you, senior citizen hard workers of East Nassau. They wanted me to go Medicaid about 3 years ago, and I just wasn't ready for it. Why should I go 3 years early? Now I'm doing what everybody tells me to do. Now you tell me, is that the right thing to do? What would you do? Would you do everything that everybody told you to do? Because you're 92 and a half years old? And you have difficulty walking, ambulatory difficulty, and you can't see? What would you do? I know. We'll go and talk to God about it. How's that? Yeah, let's do that. God loves us. We love God. And the spirit of love is what does the healing. Except you're no good at it, Glendora. But the others are. They succeed. Bulletin. Mary Alice Ross gave up her cushy job in technology after talking to herself for 10 years and finally doing it, and became a Christian Science practitioner and teacher so she could heal people. And I called up, thanks to Patricia's getting all the numbers, gathering up the phone numbers. I called up Mary Alice in Maryland yesterday, and I said, I am a fan of yours through and through. I loved what you did. I loved how you did it. And I love the spirit and your good nature and your humor and your alacrity. And I think today I will call up Jenny Sawyer, who was the interviewer on the Christian Science Sentinel radio show, and tell Jenny how fine a person she is to give up everything and go into Christian Science to heal people from not only sickness, folks, but from sin. They all go together, you know, those two. Thank you, Patricia, for coming late in the afternoon and doing that reading of telephone numbers and putting them into the LG phone, the cell phone, so that I can, and dialing them for me. You know, there's so much to this. But what is it? It's all, when everything is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. Mr. Robert Jackson sent Glendora the application and the contract for renewal for the program in Rockland County, a very big and populated, widely populated county outside of the city of New York, just a little to the north and to the west, and also for Torrington, Connecticut, to get those renewals going so that you people out there can hear the good news, that it is the Spirit of love that does the healing, that no matter what is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. We got to keep getting this message out. It's the only good thing on the 6:30 p.m. I'll tell you, 6:30 p.m. news on Channel 6. It's the only good piece of news there is. Now, little birdie, we'll tell you some jokes, and we will cheer you up. You shouldn't be mournful, little birdie. You should be happy and jolly, and we will stay with you until you are. And we will take care of you, little birdie. I think that's a loon birdie, don't you? It sounds like many people, too. What does, this is yesterday's joke, what does a train and a symphony orchestra have in common? A good conductor. It's only 9 o'clock and Wayne Collins is already out doing errands, folks. So I will have to find you a Bible passage. Let's take this one. Be ye therefore kind-hearted one to another. Be ye therefore kind-hearted one to another. And now, let us find a beautiful word to stretch our vocabularies. We want perky, fresh, meaningful vocabularies. Accoutrement. A-C-O-U-T-R-E-M-E-N-T. Trappings. Equipment. Usually heavy or in large size. It's a much better word than stuff. Or you can call it your para and your fernalia. Accoutrement. A-C-O-U-T-R-E-M-E-N-T. Trappings. Equipment. You hear about the new aftershave lotion for husbands over 65? It's called Old Spice. Will you please sing the week's hymn with me? Open our eyes that we may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in our hands that wonderful key that will unclasp and set us free. Silently now we wait for thee. Ready, our God, thy will to see. Open our eyes, illumine us, Spirit divine. So, Gloria, in all philanthropy and kindness and goodness, will be here at 11:30 with her nephew, Johnny. And dear Andrew said he would be here at 11:15. I just needed friends to go with me, folks. And we'll pack Glendora into the wheelchair and then into the walker and then into the Lexus. Gloria has a Lexus. Wow. And off we will go across the Hudson River to Albany, to Washington Avenue, near where the library is, and we'll go to somebody, an eye doctor or somebody, who will say that Glendora is blind, and we can show that as proof to Medicare. And right here, doctor, this is a little sore. The body's been doing a grand job of healing it for the last 2 weeks, and today is the least hurtful. So be careful of it, though. Please don't touch it. Right there, it is very sore. The body is amazing the way it can heal. The body is just amazing the way it can heal. And then I hope we will come right home. And then I'll ask Johnny if he wants to earn $30 and stay here and do some telephoning and some reading to Glendora. If he does a better job than that, I'll pay him $40. If he does better than that, I'll give him $50. The money is piling up because we don't have any workers to pay money to. We don't have any workers. Enough workers. I asked Christine at Channel 6 if she would spend 2 hours with me every Monday. She's really fast. She does work so fast. Well, she'd have to be in the competitive business that she is, selling airtime, TV airtime. I asked the people down in Kinderhook, my former network, I have a network here, you know it, you know everybody in it. And I had a network like that on the TV shows of the decade from 2010 to 2004 to 2012. And I asked them to come back and read to me, come up here, and nope, they don't want to leave the house on account of the virus. So that was an empty well. And when I asked Andrew if he would go with me tomorrow, Sandy can't go because she's teaching the Montessoris. I asked Sandy, and she went and asked Andrew, and she says, Andrew, will you go with Glendora to get the certification of blindness? Andrew came to the phone. He didn't say yes or no. He didn't ask one question, except, what time shall I be there? Your turn now, folks. Show and tell. We all are interested. We want to know what you did today. We wanted to know your relationship to God. We wanted to know your relationship to love and how you and love work together to keep the universe going and growing and glowing. What day is it again? January 13th, Wednesday.
The time is 9:23 a.m.
Wayne Collins, would you please give us a nice word for today?
Yes.
For our vocabularies.
Yes, I will. The word is alleviate.
Oh, good.
And the word alleviate means to make less hard to bear, relieve pain, etc.
I love it. Again, please.
It's alleviate. To make less hard to bear, to relieve, such as with pain and so forth.
Yes, I am going to try to alleviate some things today by telling people jokes.
Yes.
And I have on my orange hat and my orange jacket, orange tie, and orange gloves. That should help them too, shouldn't it?
Yes, I would think so.
At least it'll give them something else to think about.
Yes, it's very colorful, and this is a nice sunshiny day here.
Oh, it is? It's lovely? Is it cold?
It's sort of cold, but the sunshine helps.
Well, it's winter.
Sunshine lifts our spirits.
Yes, it's lovely winter. Wayne, your beautiful Bible passage for this week.
All right, the Bible passage is Galatians 6:9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Galatians 6:9.
That's a good one, folks, to say every 10 minutes or so. Let us not weary of well-doing. Okay. Wayne, would you be so kind as to cue me into some jokes?
Yes. Let's talk about the honeymoon couple.
Oh, yeah. They came back from their honeymoon, folks, and he says, now, dear, we have to settle down to business. Do you want to be president or vice president? And she said, you can be both, dear. I'll just be the treasurer.
And then the family in church.
The mother said the choir was flat. The daddy said the sermon was too long. And the little girl said, I thought it was a good show for 15 cents.
And then we have the man talking with God.
Bill is talking to God, and he says, God, how long is 1,000,000 years to you? And God said, 1 second. And Bill says, God, how long or how much is $1,000,000 to you? And God said, $10. Bill says, God, could I please have $10? And God said, just a second. Hi, folks. What can we do to cheer up the world, you and I? This is January the 15th, 2021. Does that cheer you up? We can always count blessings. We could count blessings from now until the midnight. There are so many blessings, and we would still only get a teaspoon out of an ocean full. All right, blessings. The spin of the earth. The 24 hours. We're given 24 hours, time after time after time again. Night and day. Day to accomplish and night to have sweet sleep. Light, light. Electromagnetic radiation, light. Heat, more electromagnetic radiation. Time, we're given time. Do you ever try to figure out what time is? Can you figure out what time means to you? Temperature. Just the right temperature we have to have, folks. We can't live outside of our range of temperature. The tilt of the earth that gives us seasons. This is the winter season. We're in for, what would you say, 2 more months of winter? January to February 15, February 15 to March 15. But what are the good things that we remember about winter? Time to make up our sleep, time to make up our meditation, and time to get our work up to date. And just stay home. I like it that the virus makes us stay home. I think that's a great thing, just to stay home. Well, Glennie doesn't want to leave the happy house again. It was really a rough ride Wednesday. She just wants to stay right here in the happy house with you. And then the Earth's trip around the sun gives us the year, and we're already halfway through the first month. And gravity. Gravity. Sweet, sweet gravity. Can you think what it is? Whatever it is, it tells you so much about God. Gravity. It holds us together, folks. It holds us together. It makes you drop the teacup. It makes you trip. But just be careful. Well, why don't we say the biggest thing of all? Love. And that love is God. Now that's 15 blessings. Well, let's keep going here with the electromagnetic spectrum. Radio waves, those long, long, long waves, electromagnetic spectrum. Microwaves, red, orange, and yellow. How we love those colors. So many thousands of them. Those light waves, those frequencies, those wavelengths, and green, blue, and purple. And we all how we love the ultra purples, right? And the X-rays and the gamma rays. And how we love the air and all that it does and has. And the miracle of water. And the greatness of marble. 1 square foot of marble, 150 pounds, and then ground up into pieces and ground up into the soil, and the beauty that comes out of the soil. Plants and trees and grass and dandelions and flowers and photosynthesis and symbiosis and the ecology and 90 vegetables and fruits and those wonderful fish, all the varieties and all of the beauty and all of the able things they can do. And the birdies, and we have birdies in our clock, and bats in our belfry, and we have the mammals, dogs and cats, dogs and cats, and people. My little dog friend. The people came home, put the doggie out to go to the bathroom, got their supper and sat down and watched TV and forgot the doggie was out. And they never saw the doggie again. Please show us how to deal with that. How do we deal with that? Please show us. So that cheered us up, didn't it? What great things that surround us all day long. And that's only a drop in the bucket. Only a drop. Next hour we should count 15 more. Or 40. I like to count 40 an hour. 40 what? 40 blessings. Oh. Okay. And when we treat people right, and animals right, and the world right, then we're happy, aren't we? When all is said and done, the only thing that matters is what? How did we treat others? We're on holy ground, folks. Big things that happened yesterday. The computer came. The 329 computer that we bought Vicky. Now she's going to be the editor of all of your TV shows. She's going to take this SD card and she's going to put it on Facebook for you. Excuse me. Yeah, she is. But she's going to put it on DVD disc for you to go to 30 television stations from Boston to San Diego. And then she's going to put it on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And Glennie doesn't want to leave the happy house again. And Glennie wants a Christian Science healing for the return of the vision and for the health of the knee. And she knows it is possible and she believes in it. She cannot quite bring it off.
Glendora, it's Pat.
Oh, hi, my dear Pat. Come in, please. That cheered us up, folks. That was a visit from our dear, dear friend Patricia. And she opened the applications for renewal for Rockland County and for Torrington, Connecticut for a chat with Glendora on Cablevision Altice. The change...
Call from Conway.
Oh, Conway, and I can't take it. I wonder if he will call me on my landline, and then I can answer it. But this one I can't answer. Let's see if he will call us on the landline, folks. There's a message there asking him to do that. Helping others, you'll enjoy it. Satisfaction guaranteed. We got rid of the ego. Selfishness is not allowed. We want you to have it. Peace that passes understanding. Helping others, you'll enjoy it. Satisfaction guaranteed. No, it must be difficult for him to call back on the landline. Yes, it cheered us up to have Patricia come. And when the Reverend Gary comes, we'll pursue this and maybe get rid of this terrible delay of people not getting the message. When all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. And when you look at television today and all the news and the computer, what are you going to say? You've said it. We need the message so badly. Now, let's see if I can stop and dig out of my memory a joke or two for you. This has been so jokeless. A man had a talking dog, and he took the dog to a booking agent in Manhattan to get some gigs. And he said, listen to this dog, he really talks. Rover. what do you call it that a house has over it to keep the rain out? And Rover said, roof, roof. Rover, what do you call it that a house has what was it, a house? A tree, Rover. What do you call it, a tree that it has in the ground and keeps it from falling over? And Rover said, roof, roof. And Rover, what do you call it, the greatest baseball player of all times? And Rover said, roof, roof. And at this point, the booking agent pushed the man and the dog out the door. He locked the door, and as the man and the dog are walking down the corridor outside in the hall, the dog looked up at the man and said, I should have said DiMaggio. The man in the haberdashery shop, the men's shop, he said to the owner, may I please try on that navy blue suit in the window? And the owner says, no, you'll have to use the dressing room. The honeymoon couple came home and he said, dear, we have to settle down to business now. Would you like to be the president or the vice president? And she said, oh dear, you can be both. I'll just be the treasurer. What do you and your wife have in common? Nothing, except we were married on the same day. Bob and Joan folks had been married for, 20 years, and they had 3 or 4 teenagers. And they were asked, what do you want for your wedding anniversary present? And they said, our own telephone. The woman said to the taxi cab driver, cabby, how much do I owe you? And he said, nothing, ma'am, you did all of the driving. Our Bible lesson, folks, is do not weary of doing good. And another one is, how do you overcome evil? By doing good. Is that hard for us to remember right now? We will not let it be. That's what we will keep saying up here, in here. We will not give up. Overcome evil with good. Do not weary of doing good. We'll stand together. We're all together. And did the in-mail from the U.S. government. Thank you for the stimulus check, U.S. government, Congress, and President. Thank you. And Judicial Department, they didn't send us anything. And the Think Folder 1 is done. There's just Think Folder 2 and 3. Gregory Hearn has not received the $100 nor the SD card number 2 to make 10 or 12 TV shows out of, half hours each. Temperature is 40 degrees. Would that qualify as a January thaw on January the 15th? Rio has not received the county burial that we mailed out a week ago Monday, but I think that it will come along. I think there are times when things are a little difficult and move slowly as molasses in January, right? And I guess that's all, dear. Now we want to hear yours. You start. Oh, the biggest news of all. The body healed the eye. The eye became sore because there was so much mucus that was discharged, and it would stay in there, and it had to be removed by hand, and then the hand irritated it. So no more of that. And the Pond's cold cream relieves the itch and relieves the mucus. And the body, this great, great, great body, healed it all by itself. You do that over and over again, body, and you've done it for 92.5 years. You are a great body. 92.5 years, oh, no doctors and no medicine. You go with me today? I need you to go with me. Kind Gloria, full of love, is picking Glendora up in her car at 11:30 today, and we will drive to the capital of New York State, Albany, and we will go to Western Avenue, and we will go to the Northeast Association for the Blind, and they will charge us $200 to write out a certificate that Glennie is blind. Yeah. It isn't pretty obvious, is it, that Glennie is blind? That's not obvious. Will you go with Glennie? Glennie needs you to go with her. A friend had to go for a treatment, a kidney stone, intense pain, and she wouldn't let me go with her. And when I went to the hospital, remember, to Albany Med, she went with me and stayed with me from noon until midnight. And she won't let me return the favor. It's the spirit of love that does the healing. Mary Lou Ross, a Christian Science practitioner, is a very impressive person. The hope today is to call her on the phone and congratulate her for her selflessness and for her giving up her couchy technological career and giving herself over to God to heal others through Christian Science. Grady Hearn, as soon as he receives SD card number 2, along with his $100 check, will take the story off of SD2 and put it on DVDs, and they will be numbered 11, 12, 13, 14. Grady 11, Grady 12, Grady 13, and Grady 14. And they will be archives L, Archive M, Archive O, and Archive P, L, M, and O, P. And he says he will make us a new theme song if we would like. It would be a good idea. We don't want to hurt Wayne Collins' feelings because his theme song is so well done. And then what is Grady Hearn going to do? He's going to upload them on our second website, which is called Glendora, a daily perk-up, a subsidiary of A Chat with Glendora. And he will put them on YouTube. So you don't have to wait until January. No, you don't have to wait until February, March to see them. You can see them on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Why should you not tell anybody a secret if you are in a bank? There are too many tellers. Did you get that one? I bet you did. A red tie doesn't go with an orange outfit, but the orange tie is in the hat room, and Marie is sleeping in there, and we can't wake her up. There is no friend on Monday who brings a Meals on Wheels. That's the one day we don't have filled. Do you want to fill it? Do you want to bring a meal every Monday? These Meals on Wheels people bring vegan meals. And there's one for every day of the week, except Monday. Minister, what is the difference between like and love? Little boy, I like my mom and dad. I like my mom and dad, but I love my bubble gum. Do you think it's a good idea not to hire any new people because of the virus? But wait, the spirit of love does the healing. Do you think it is? Just stay with the ones that we have now. Do you make 20 telephone calls a day? No, 30. 30 a day. It's 850, most recently added to the 71,000 that we already have made since 2003. How many television shows? 13,300 and more. How many TV stations? 75. How many years public access? 49. Nearly a half century. Was it the best you could do? Did it serve God the best? Apparently, because in 1952, at age 23 or so, came the very, very clear commitment to do nothing but television shows the rest of the life. Paul Mattel, who is a gentleman of the first class in San Diego, says that as long as Cablevision, as long as cable TV is around, public access will be around. And Glennie said, oh yes, because it is law. It is a law, federal, state, and municipal, unless Congress changes that. Cable companies have to have public access. Glennie proved that with her lawsuit. Glendora versus Cablevision, Glendora versus Colpo, Glendora versus Dolan. Plaintiff has a statutory right to be on TV and must be returned to TV. Cablevision had to put the program back on after they took it off. When? Oh, around 1995, 1996.
Hello. Please leave a...
Hello, Wayne.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, hear you fine.
Oh, okay. Something happened there.
Yeah, obviously.
What? We're doing jokes.
And it was the last joke of yesterday.
Last joke of yesterday, the woman was interviewed for a job.
Yes, that's a good one. Okay, what was the other one beyond that one?
Well, you had yesterday about Donna's daycare with a frozen pizza facility.
Yeah, let's do those.
Okay.
All right. You want to rehearse first? Or you want to just go ahead and do them?
Well, maybe it's good to run through them first.
Okay. Wayne, what happened when the man called up the city editor and irate and said, "You put me in the obituary column and I'm still alive"? What did the city editor say?
The city editor said, "I'll make it up to you. Tomorrow I'll put you in the birth column."
Okay, and when Donna took the nursery school children out for a walk and they came home for lunch, what did she say to them?
She said, "I have some delicious frozen pizza for lunch."
And what did Danny say?
He said, "Well, I'd rather you put mine in the oven. I'd rather you heat mine up in the oven."
Okay.
Did I do it right?
I guess so. And then what else was there? Oh, a woman making out an application for a job.
Mm-hmm.
And she hesitated, and what did the boss say?
The boss said, "You put down that your birthday was May 25th. What year?" She said, "It's the same every year."
No. Every year, Wayne.
Every year. It's the same every year.
No. What year? Every year.
Oh, yeah, what year? Every year.
Okay. This is good. I told the one about the conductor. That was very good.
Okay.
All right. So let's go.
Okay.
Hold it, please. We have phone trouble, and now I made a mess of the remote. Just a minute.
Okay.
Wayne, what did the man called up the city editor of the newspaper, and the man was irate. He said to the city editor, "You put my name in the obituary column, and I'm still alive." What did the city editor say?
The city editor said, "Well, I'll make it up to you. Tomorrow I'll put your name in the column with the birth announcements."
Okay. And then the woman, she was making out an application for a job, and what did she put down on the paper?
She had to list her age, her birthday, and the boss said, "Well, what year?" And she said, "The same every year."
Okay. Let's see. Let's go over that one again, Wayne. The woman is making out the application for the job, and it says, "What is your birthday?" And she says, "May 25th. And the interviewer said, "Well, what year?" And she said, "Every year." You see, the thing was, she did not want to tell her age, did she?
Right.
Yeah. Then what was the next joke?
Donna's daycare.
Oh, yes, Donna had her daycare children out for a walk, and when they got home, she said, "Children, for lunch I have the most delicious frozen pizza." And what did Danny say?
He said, "Well, I like mine hot, so put it in the oven, please. Pull off the top."
Okay, let me cue it up again. Victoria, this is, I believe, where you left off Friday, January 15th, when you were making your transfers, either from my camcorder to your computer or somewhere. And then you were doing SD instead of hard drive and things like that. All right, this is where you left off. And this starts the new series. This is not February, March. February, March you took yesterday, and I'll tell you how to label those. you call me up, would you please? And I'll tell you how to label the 4 sleeves for the last 6 TV shows, last 6 TV stations of February, March. Okay, let us begin now. Five, 4, 3, 2. Hi there, folks. How are you this morning? This is mid-January, January the 16th, Saturday, and it's around noontime. And I think I'll tell you a joke to see if I can hear you laugh as enthusiastically as Chris Rio. I love to hear Chris Rio laugh. She likes the jokes over television, and her husband likes the jokes that appear in the newspaper. So here we are. A little boy had a little red wagon. He took it out on the sidewalk, and when he was going by the church, all the wheels fell off. And he said, "I'll be darned." And he couldn't believe it. And the next day he took out his little red wagon. When he got to the church, all the wheels fell down. And he said, "I'll be darned." And the third day he goes by the church. And as soon as he gets to the church, the wheels fall off. Finally, and he says, "I'll be darned." And finally the priest comes out and says, "That is not a good thing for you to say, 'I'll be darned.' You should not say, 'I'll be darned.' You should say, 'I love you, God. I praise you, God. I thank you, God.'" So the next day, when the little boy took his little red wagon out, and he got to the church, and all the wheels fell off, the little boy said, "I love you, God. I praise you, God. I thank you, God." And all the wheels went back on, and the priest said, "I'll be darned." So Vicky, this will require some editing. I don't know why the remote doesn't want to work. Very, very, very big news and very, very, very good news. We received a telephone call yesterday afternoon from Chris Rio in the Rensselaer County Medicaid office. She did receive the papers for the county burial, so that's all in place. And almost simultaneously, the day before, Gloria arrived with the Medicaid papers for the community Medicaid. And guess what Chris Rio said? She said that Medicaid, the doctor bill from Albany Med and the hospital bill from Albany Med came to about $11,000. And go back 2 or 3 chapters and listen to why that was such a ripoff. And that Medicaid is going to pay all but $1,700 of it. Glendora has to pay only $1,700 out of the $10,500. And then as far as the other bill, $480, whatever that was that for doctors? Medicare is going to pay that. When I get my Medicaid is going to pay that. Strike that. I should never have said Medicare. Medicare is not in here at all. Medicaid paid for that, or will pay for that, and all I have to do when I get my Medicaid number is to write my number on that bill and send it to Albany Med. Wow. We're going to stop now for you to pray and Glennie to pray, to say thank you. Now, you remember the letter that we wrote to the Chief Executive Officer, MD, of Albany Med, and asked did we have to pay this bill because the two reliefs we went to the emergency room to obtain we did not get, and we were there 12 hours. We wanted relief from the pain in the abdomen, and we didn't get that, and we wanted a pain reliever, and we didn't get that. We came home without them. That should cost $11,000 from noon to midnight. So what we did enclose $200 to our letter of protest, and so that means of the $1,700, $200 is paid, and I'll ask Patricia when she comes in today to send out another $200, and that'll bring it down to $1,300. Friends keep pressing me to go to a doctor about this eye, this blindness, both of them, and about the inability in the knee and the pain. But no, folks, stick with me, would you? I want a Christian Science solution. It's so much better than a medical solution. Daddy, can I join the army? No, you're only an infant. But I could join the infantry. And folks, if I should turn my back on Christian Science after looking into it and studying it so hard since August, and this is January, I would feel like a renegade. Daddy, can I join the army? No. You're only an infant, but I could join the infantry. And folks, if I should turn my back on Christian Science after looking into it and studying it so hard since August, and this is January, I would feel like a renegade. Harry said, I don't want to go to school today. The kids don't like me. The teachers don't like me. And even the custodians have it in for me. His mother says, you are going to school today. You have much to contribute. You have much to learn. And besides, you're 45 years old and the principal. I believe Victoria transferred the footage that was on the hard drive of this camcorder to her computer, her brand new computer that we bought her, $330. A Hewlett-Packard laptop marked down due to the Consumer Electronics Show, the new products coming in. And I believe she took the footage for the color code yellow. You know, these are all these colors are a different code. And for the color code red and for the color code orange, except today's. And she spent considerable time doing that. But in the meantime, she gave me water in a tub in a kiddie pan to soak the feet. And my, that feels so good, folks. Soak your feet. That feels so good for a couple of hours. And then she starched some of the blouses, because we have to have these blouses looking nice for you. And she fed the animals outdoors, gave them lots of seeds and lots of cookies. I think they should have something sweet like that in the wintertime because of the cold weather. And she fed the animals out the window, and she watered the apple tree. We put an apple seed into a plant pot. Esther did think folders 1, 2, and 3, wrote several checks and signed several checks as the power of attorney. I think we want to send a check $100 to Atlanta, Public Access TV. I think we want to send $200 to Albany Mid, we said. Can you think of anybody else who wants me to write them a check? You, for instance? And it was Esther who did the in-mail, and it was Gary who did the new telephone numbers, pages 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it was Gary who did the voicemail. Madeline didn't get a chance to do the email and the YouTube. Many people are watching the YouTube programs that go up from here, the ones that you are watching now. And Consolidated Cable TV sent us a bill for $120 instead of for $60. So Madeline went after that, and they said, well, the second year we double your bill. And Madeline says, well, I would think you'd lose a lot of customers for doing that. And the attendant said, in that case, we'll start you over again. And I guess Madeline just took out the service again and brought the charge down to $60, where it was before. Isn't it something? The woman said that she babies her car, and her husband says that's right, it won't go anywhere without a rattle. What else got done on Saturday, or rather Friday, yesterday, January 13th, 15th? We did not do the veterans. Franklin was in World War II from before Pearl Harbor, a couple of months before Pearl Harbor. Then he went to England, and he sat in the English Channel as the thousands were waiting to be shot down by the Germans on D-Day in France. And he went clear across into Paris, pushing the Nazis back to Berlin. Finally, the Nazis got the better of us at the Battle of the Bulge, but it was the last hurrah of the Nazis, and Franklin saw that. He was in the territory, he wasn't in the battle. And then he was in Victory in Europe Day in June of 1945. And don't you think the veterans should have a veterans benefit for him? Now, do I have to tell you the Bible passage of the week? Oh, you remembered it. Good. Do not weary of helping others. Do not weary of good deeds. and the hymn. Open our eyes that we may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in our hands that wonderful key that will unclasp and set us free. Silently now we wait for thee, ready our God thy will to see. Open our eyes, illumine us, Spirit divine. Now we'll have to pick out a word, and we'll have to find you some more jokes. What word means an overpowering divine impulse? An overpowering supernatural impulse. What word means that? Here's a birdie. Thank you for the cheer, Birdie. Bill said that when he was in college, he had the women running in circles around him. And his wife said, that's right, he was a track coach. Hi, folks. This is Martin Luther King Day. Great work. Great work. He was a classmate of our dear Franklin, Glendora's husband. Where was that? Boston University. When? 1945 through 46, 7, and 8. Right after the war, the beginning of the GI Bill. Boston University. Did Franklin know him well? No. No. But it's great to hear of his dedication and his success and his ultimate sacrifice. What happened yesterday, Sunday, January 17, 2021? We wrote checks. We made another payment to the odious bill from Albany Medical Center. We made a second payment of $200. That's $400 altogether. Medicaid, thank you for paying so much of it. Can you give him the facts, Glendora? I don't know. I think the bill was $10,500. I went there for two reasons. To get rid of the pain in the abdomen and to get a pain reliever. Well, I never got either. And I stayed there from noon till midnight. And I've written the CEO of Albany Med and asked him if I have to pay this, because I didn't get what I went for. And I haven't heard from him. And so we sent him $200 in a joke for that first letter. And now today, or when somebody comes by who will share their eyesight, I will ask him to write him another letter and ask him again if I have to pay it, and tell him another joke, and enclose the second $200. So it'll be $400. And Medicaid came along as an almoner and said they would pay all but $1,700 of it, $1,750. So just that brings the bill down to about $1,300. And next Monday I'll try to pay another $200. Franklin never allowed bills. Everything with Franklin was cash and was paid up, and he never owed anything. Nor did Glennie. And a little boy and his doggie would go to school every day. And everybody thought that was so endearing. How the little boy and the dog would go to school every day, and then they'd come home in the afternoon together. And it went on for years. And then something happened, folks. It stopped. The doggie graduated. Did you write other checks? No, I can't write them. Sandy wrote them, and she remembered not to sign them because they have to be signed by Esther, who is the power of attorney. Well, what were the other checks? $100 to Atlanta Public Access TV. And that brings that total up to about $900 or $1,200. That's really something we'll have to stop, I think. You're not supposed to pay for public access TV anyhow. It's what it is. It's the public's access to TV. Any other checks? Yeah. Another $100 to Grady Hearn. And I haven't heard from Grady for 2-3 days. Then we'll have to work on that today. Grady's supposed to be doing the first 4 programs for February, March, April, May. So we sent $100 to him, making a total of $200. And we sent another $50 to our Christian Science practitioner. And that makes $150 total. We're waiting for the principal check from Warren Buffett that was so terribly delayed in the mail. We stopped the first one, and it's here. And we're waiting for the second one. And it won't be today because today's a federal holiday. Victoria is all set. She is going to do TV shows Victoria 1, Victoria 2, Victoria 3, Victoria 4. Because remember, we bought her the new computer, the $330 computer. And they will be Archive L, Archive M, Archive N, and Archive O. And they will be for the first week of February and the first week of March, second week, third week, and fourth week. And they have to be posted by Thursday or Friday of this week. Apparently, public access programs are being thinned out because the people who do their programs in the studio is locked up. Nobody's around there because of the virus. So we have to keep up our standard, don't we? Sending in 75 TV shows every 2 months to 75 TV stations. We can't let the message down. When all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. We just can't let the message down. We have to keep it up when there's so much bad stuff on TV, and it's the only good thing every now and then. And where are these 6 TV stations for Victoria? Well, Philly Cam, Philadelphia, Atlanta, People TV, Pittsfield, a Robert Jackson who sends them to 15 other TV stations, file transfer protocol. I send them to him on DVD, and he sends them to the other TV stations by computer. Now you want that long pause in there, Glendora? Because just from above came an afflatus. Why doesn't Victoria send, instead of sending the programs to Robert Jackson on DVD, why don't we send them to him on file transfer protocol? What? Ask Victoria if she would like to send the programs to the TV stations by file transfer protocol rather than by DVD. Ask Robert Jackson if he would rather receive them by computer rather than by DVD. Ooh. Wish I could write things down on a to-do list, but I can't do that. I can't see to write, and I can't see to read them if I could write them. Okay, make sure you do that today. That's an afflatus. An overpowering supernatural impulse. Thank you for bringing that to me by doing our program here together. I owe you for that. One man says everything used to be I owe you. He says, but now it's I owe everybody. What else happened yesterday and what else to do today? This is a huge accomplishment. Wayne Collins and Glendora are up to page 200 of volume 2, the extended edition of We Knew Mary Baker Eddy. And yesterday it was so poignant. You know, Mary Baker Eddy left Boston and went up to the country around Concord where she was born and brought up, and lived up there on a country estate while everything was happening in Boston, of course, to her direction, because she did control everything. And one of the things that happened was the Mother Church being built. And then she and a few of her very close associates, those who said we knew Mary Baker Eddy, got into a private parlor car on the train and went from Concord to Boston and went to the Mother Church, and she saw it inside for the first time. Well, I don't know if it's for the first time, but she saw it finished. And they described how she walked down the aisle and how she stood where the first readers stood and where the second reader stood, and how she saw the mother's room and how she saw the windows. She looked out each window. And of course the Christian Science Church doesn't bother with stained glass windows. They have just plain glass windows. It was really a thrill, and I could feel it. I could feel what some of the things that she was feeling. It's really, as I say, a thrill. And where are you and Wayne on the Contents Encyclopedia? Up to deserts? How the rain doesn't come to a desert the way it does to other land, and why the desert becomes a desert? What else happened yesterday? Sandy and Andrew made Glendora pancakes and sent them to her with maple syrup and bananas and blueberries. And Sandy did Think Folder 1, and she did it at a distance of 7 feet. She's been worried about sitting next to Glennie and doing it, so she did it at a distance of 6 feet. And it's very important, the things that she did. What is the Think Folder? It's a list of things to do. Now today, I don't have anybody coming in to share their eyesight, but I would have them do Think Folder 2, if they would be so kind. And then Tuesday, do Think Folder 3. Saturday, Patricia read to you the article in the Advertiser, our hometown shopping news, that was written by the very capable Freya Dinshaw, president of the American Vegan Society. It was an article that could be written only by a person who spent her life studying veganism and proselytizing it, and thinking about it and making it stronger and more widely practiced. Now, what else happened Saturday? Patricia read to Glendora from the Encyclopedia Britannica, and she read the article on Christian Science to Glendora for the second time. And yesterday, Sandy gave Glendora 2 sliders. It's a vegan hamburger that was made by White Castle. Remember the little White Castle stores? And now I think it's manufactured by Gardein or Gardein. And Gloria, our Seventh-day Adventist true friend, went to the village clerk of the village of Nassau and showed her the Medicaid papers and showed her the paper signed by the optometrist that Glendora could not see, and got and procured for Glendora a parking handicap sign. But Glendora doesn't intend to go out anymore. She wants to stay in the Glendora Happy House the rest of her life. She never wants to leave here again. It is just too painful on the knee. That's unless the Christian Science healing comes through. Yeah, that could change the view, couldn't it? And all of Glendora's network, 6 or 7 or 8 people are saying, go to a doctor, go to an ophthalmologist, and have this eye looked at. And Glendora's looking at a medical bill for what? $1,300? So Glendora, and they keep repeating it, and they keep drilling it. Like Getty oil. And Glendora says, all right, then you pay for it. All of you get together and you pay for it. And you get Glendora a wheelchair that has suspension that doesn't hurt for every pebble that it goes over. So there's a chuckle about that. A church had a Bible selling contest. And the man who sold the most Bibles stuttered. He stuttered severely. So the parishioners asked him, "What did you say to the people to sell the most Bibles?" And he said, I just said, do you want to buy a Bible, or do you want me to read it to you? Victoria wants to augment our precautions against the virus. She wants to put a sign on the door telling everybody to wear a mask and how to wear it properly. And she wants to have everybody wash their hands when they come in, and that's a good idea because our hot water here is so therapeutic. It is really good. And she wants to spray a protection. And I said yes to all of her suggestions. And she made several improvement ideas about doing the uploads of the TV shows to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So she's on her way, and she says she thinks she can get these here and posted, or not posted, that's ambiguous when you're talking about electronics. She wants to get them mailed in the U.S. Post Office either Thursday or Friday, and that's the day that they're due. Madeline still has not returned 3 archives. We still have not found 4 that are misplaced. I don't know what to do about that. It's the worst thing that can happen to you in public access TV when you lose an archive and don't have a copy of it. Hey folks, it's January the 19th, and it's 2021, and it's Tuesday. Is that astrologically auspicious? This phrase was in Mary Baker Eddy in recapitulation, completely without selfhood. Completely without selfhood. Completely without selfhood. Wow. Do you know anybody who attained that? My, that's beautiful. Completely without selfhood. Do you know anybody who attained that? Think of the book, Men Who Have Walked with God, the Saints. Did any of them attain that? She's very good with these phrases. Another one she came up with was in the days of ecclesiastical despotism. In the days of ecclesiastical despotism. Now you've heard of political disposition. Google, did you just wake up? Hey Google, did you just wake up, Google? Hey Google. Well, maybe she started to. I think Johnny turned her off last night by mistake when he left, and I should have asked him to check it before he left. Ecclesiastical despotism. Isn't that a beautiful phrase? It's an ugly meaning, but it's certainly good vocabulary. And the churches did do that. The Jewish church did it. The Roman Catholic Church did it. I guess maybe all of them if they were in power. I guess all of them. They had the chance, they took it. So what happened yesterday? Martin Luther King Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. By the way, that wasn't his given name. I think his given name was Michael. And somebody spoke about the letter he wrote in the Birmingham jail, how effective that was, how moving, how stirring. And he has our respect. He did great things. And if you get a chance, go to the Christian Science Sentinel and listen to the interview that Tony Noble had with the woman who was in Washington, D.C. and heard that speech, the famous speech, I Have a Dream. And I told you that he was a classmate of my husband, Franklin Fuller Buell, at Boston University, 1948, 49, 1946, 48, 47, 48, 49. The color code this week is a purple jacket, but we can't find any friends to go into the hat room and get out that purple hat, the one that was so expensive and had the dangling feather. It's a beauty. And we can't find anybody to go into the hat room and find a purple tie. So this is a leftover color, orange, from the week of January 11th. If you had 100 days to live, what would you do with them, folks? 100 days to live. I think you ought to pick a day, designate a day when you say, I'm going to die on this day. Then when the day comes and you don't die, you can start life all over again. Did you know about the dollar bills in the man's pocket? They were talking to each other. And the $20 bill says, I've had a wonderful life. I've been around the world twice. I've been to an inauguration. I've been to I've been to a coronation. I've been to a coronation. I've been to 3 inaugurations. I've had a very exciting life. And the $10 bill says, well, I have too. And they both looked at the dollar bill and they say, where have you been all these years? And the dollar bill said, churches, churches, churches. Send a cup full of love to a cat named A. He's 16 years old. And his face is swollen. And he's going to the veterinarian. Poor kitty. Poor kitty. Send a cup full of love to a cat named A. We can love him out of it. We can love him back into health. Let's go. Love, a cat. What else happened yesterday? Johnny came, Johnny Conlon, and he helped me write the letter to Albany Med. This is the second letter to Albany Med, to Dr. McKenna, the CEO. And Glendora said, do I really have to pay this bill? The bill is $10,500. Glendora was in Albany Med from noon to midnight on Sunday, September 27th. And the video she took of her lying on the stretcher, lying for the ultrasound, and still wearing the hat and all dressed up in a tie, lying flat on the back. That's got about 78 views on YouTube. Anyway, Johnny helped me write the letter, and Glendora said that she went to Albany Med to rid herself of a pain in the abdomen and to get pain relievers. And she left 12 hours later without either. Why should she be charged $11,000, $10,500 for services she didn't get when she left? And Glendora also said, I think that the urinary infection was a misdiagnosis. I don't think there was any. I was just thirsty and they wouldn't give me anything to drink. And then we told a joke. What was the joke? Doctor, there's nothing I can do for your disease. It's hereditary. Patient. Then send the bill to my dad. And then we finished the letter by saying, however, in good faith, I enclose another $200, my second payment. Total paid $400. Now, how does this work? Medicare, the bill was $10,500, and Medicare, with magic, is paying all but $1,750 of it. So that Glendora actually has to pay only $1,750. Thank you. Thank you. Such a largesse. Where did that come from? And then there was another bill that came for $480. What was that for? Well, anyway, Medicare said they would pay a Medicaid. If I've said Medicare, I'm wrong. Medicaid has paid, we'll pay that.